morning. It's 8:45 or so. We just took some pictures over at the rock there, the marker for the southern terminus, and we are now going to start our hike. And as I discussed earlier, I'm going to be with Matthew and with Stephan. I'm going to turn you around so you can see them. And here we are. Here's our intrepid group. Stephan's on the phone already, so he just got a phone call. Hopefully it's nothing serious or from work. But shortly, hopefully, we'll have no cell service, so that won't be an issue. But we're making our way behind the visitor center and the airfield here at the Oasis Visitor Center, and we'll be walking north. So this is the Oasis Visitor Center. Don't forget to get your permit and sign in and drop a permit in. You have to carry one with you and leave one behind. It's a beautiful day. It's in the upper 60s right now. It's supposed to get really warm. I have to remember to put sunscreen on. I haven't put it on yet. So that's it. Other than that, we're looking at beautiful weather for today. Tomorrow, the weather should be changing, and it's supposed to get inclement weather toward the end of the day with thunderstorms on Sunday. So that's the only issue we have to worry about. But hopefully we'll finish early enough that the weather won't be a big deal. So just a couple of minutes after my last recording, we got off to a little late start today. So we hoped to have been started earlier, about an hour before, but not a big deal. But it's beautiful. There's no one else on the trail here. We saw a couple of people in the parking lot, but no hikers, mostly fishermen. So I have a feeling we're going to have the trail pretty much to ourselves. I don't know if we'll see people tomorrow, being it's a weekend, but I'm not anticipating seeing other people. So either way, we'll have a good time. And it's been pretty dry lately. Stephan said he was out here about 3-4 weeks ago, and he only did the beginning part of this trail, probably about a mile or so, and it was very dry. So it's encouraging. I know the north part where that mud is perpetually wet. So we'll definitely have some mud. It's just a matter of how much water there is on the trail further north. So I just passed the 2-mile mark. So far, it's been pretty nice tread. There are a lot of rocks. I have to look down, otherwise I'll roll an ankle here. Also some cypress knees, which if you don't look at the trail, somehow my shoes and my feet seem to find them all the time. Other than that, it's pretty nice. It's still a little cooler here in the shade, and the tread's been pretty good. Like I said, it is rocky and it's rutted, or pitted I should say, from probably erosion. So you have to really be careful. There's a couple of sections where it's a rock with a hole and pits in it, and there's dirt in there, but the dirt's soft, so if you step on it, your foot kind of rolls or sinks into it. I'll take you around and show you. This is what I see, and you can see Stephan in front of me and Matthew in front of him. He's leading us right now. We've got about I have 2.25 since the parking lot we got dropped off. It's been about an hour, but 2 miles on the trail, a little past. But this is what you're looking at, and you can see there's rocks in the middle. This area isn't as pitted, but other than that, nice easy walking. Here's an area where you can see the stones and the rock, and it's easy for you to probably roll an ankle on this. So, but so far so good, making a very good time. So we've been hiking about an hour and 20 minutes. We decided to take our first break. We're just past the 3-mile mark. We just put some sunscreen on so you can tell. Took a little drink. We're just regathering ourselves up. We're going to start hiking again. I tried the sample I got from Hoist hydration powder. It's an electrolyte mix. Tastes pretty good, but it's very, very heavy. in the package. It's probably twice as big as most other electrolyte packages. So when you're trying to count weight and space, I don't know if I would buy it. But it was a free sample, but it tasted okay. So there's Matthew, and Stephen's getting his pack together. Just got some stuff out of there. He's packing it back up, and then we'll continue down the trail, making good time. So we've been walking almost 2 hours now, probably about 4.6 miles in. It's opened up a little bit, and more cypress trees here, so you know it's wetter, or it normally is wetter here. And you can see some of the marks on the trees of where the water comes up to. So other than that, still good. It's warming up, obviously, but still a nice breeze. It's supposed to be windy this weekend. At some point, gusts of up to 25 miles an hour. So that'll help keep the temperature, or at least make it feel a little cooler while we're walking. We came up with there's rocks here. Came up with a little plan. We're going to try and do about 12, maybe 12 and a half today, and stop at one of the campsites there. There's 2 campsites around that area, around the 12 and a half mile mark. And that'll set us up for tomorrow to do another 10 or 11 and put us in good stead for Sunday, which is supposed to have rain, and that's where we come to the area that's usually problematic, which is the mud. So we'll see how that goes. You can see a little strung out. I got Matthew right behind me and then Stephen behind him, and I'm just enjoying the walk. But it's definitely getting warm. Put the sunscreen on, luckily, so it should be good. I took those gloves off. I'm not a big fan, but I'm not using my trekking poles. I did bring them. Matthew showed up with his Swamp the Shore shirt, so I ended up putting mine on, so we match. Stephen didn't bring his, I don't think. I'll have to check. He might have it with him, but he's not wearing it, so we don't match. But other than that, it's good. We're out here now. You don't hear any vehicles, any sounds. Before we heard some engines or some airboats, or swamp buggies, but nothing now. But it's also a weekday, so I imagine it's not quite as busy as it will be tomorrow. So I've been walking about 2 hours, 10 minutes now, and it's kind of opened up a little bit more. We're in the sun, obviously less shade, it's intermittent, and we've gone about 5.2 miles, according to my watch and my GPS. And still making good time, doing about 2.7, 2.8 miles per hour. Easy tread still, it's a little rocky, and every once in a while there's some ruts or cypress knees in the trail that you can trip over and find with your foot. But other than that, it's generally easy going so far. Had a couple of spots that were a little soft due to dampness, but no mud, and there wasn't no standing water so far. So have not seen any water though. That is one thing that I do concerned about going forward, is that hopefully there is water up ahead at some of the places where it says it is, because if not for that, we will have trouble. So hopefully when we get to some water, I'm going to try and drink a lot and fill up and hydrate, because I think that's going to be a problem now that it's late in March, and there's been very little rainfall, so the area is dry. Oh, we made it to 7 Mile Camp in 2 hours and 45 minutes. So we've been walking about 4 hours and 20 minutes. We just passed 10 Mile Camp, which is actually at 9 point something miles. And you can see there's an area where there's a fire. I don't know if it was a fire, a wildfire, or a controlled burn. But we just passed a camp, and we're hoping to go another 1.5 miles and get some water. We have not seen any water at all. The trail is actually dry, very dry. So we're definitely going to need water. There's supposed to be a cypress strand and then maybe a swampy area. So we'll try and get some water there. We've got another 1.6 to go, so I figure that's like 45 minutes at the most, hopefully, and we'll find some water. We have enough water for today, but the problem is making enough water going forward. But other than that, we're making good time. It's very hot now, probably in the 90s. Just hot and humid. No wildlife at all. Have not seen any wildlife. A couple of birds here and there. And we're a little further north and you can see some of the fire still smoldering. So it makes me believe it's a controlled burn because the path itself is not marked at all. And there was grass back there that was untouched. So but it's definitely a lot of rocks in the road. Got to be careful on the trail. You trip over them. I seem to find them a lot. And cypress strands as well. So we just took our second break, probably about 10-15 minutes. Our concern right now is water. We're going to try and make it to a camp at about 12 miles. And there's supposed to be water just past that, about 0.1. So our concern now is everything's been bone dry. We haven't found any water. And being that this is probably the end of right before the rainy season, it's its driest time, and water seems to be the issue. So we're going to go to the campsite, hopefully find this lake that's up ahead about 1 mile, and we're going to have to stop and search for water. We definitely need it. Otherwise, we won't be able to continue making it past today, probably. So, but very, very surprised at how dry it is, and that there's no markings for water locations on the trail at all, like most trails I'm used to. But that's understandable, being the nature, the seasonal nature of a lot of the watering holes. But I guess if you're coming this late in the year, you got to plan better. And probably we've done. I relied on a lot of the reports that the trail was very wet so far this year, and that it was still water at certain points, but we have seen no water at all. So I show we've gone about 11.5 miles already so far, 5 hours and 20 minutes. So hopefully in another 20 minutes or so, we'll be at that campsite, maybe 25, and we'll start looking for that pond. Okay, so it's about 2:30. We stopped at a campsite. We still have not found water, so we're walking ahead about 1 mile to where there's a report of water as early, or I should say as late, as 2 weeks ago. So we're walking there without our packs to see if we can find water. If we don't find water at that point, it's 1 mile ahead. We're going to walk back to the camp. We'll probably camp overnight, and then we're going to discuss what we're going to do. I'm going to vote to probably head back to Oasis because that's a guaranteed thing. I know we can make it back. It would be tough with no water. Or limited water for tomorrow, but if we get up early in the cooler temperatures, we probably can make it back and then get picked up. So, but going ahead is an unknown. So far, every time we've come to something where there's supposed to be water, there's been none. So I'm assuming that just because it's been a drier than usual year and it's been extremely hot lately with no rain, that water may be sparse out here. So we're going ahead to this, try and find this pond, or a cypress strand with a dome of water in it. And if we can't find that, we'll have to make a decision. So we went to mile marker 12. We searched both sides of the trail, and we did not find any water. Descriptions of 2 weeks ago where there was water, it was bone dry. I shouldn't say bone dry, it was damp, but there was no standing water, no chance of us getting any water. So we're walking back to the campsite now. We got a mile walk. Matthew and I tried, We searched both sides. We walked, a distance into the water, into the woods, but no joy. So we're heading back to campsite in Stephan, and we'll decide what we're going to do. But like I said, I'm going to go conservative. It doesn't make sense to me to go into the unknown. There could be water in another mile or two. Well, it says 4 miles is the next water, but what if that's dry too? We've struck out all day today, so I'm going to err on the side of caution and suggest that we go back to the Oasis and arrange for our shuttle driver to come pick us up there tomorrow afternoon. And we definitely know we can make it because we made it here, so we can do that. The only problem is we'll have less water to do it. Depending on who it is, we all have varying states of water. Obviously, we can pool our resources, and we know at the end there'll be water. So we'll make it, no doubt about that. But toward the end, it may be rough. I would suggest getting up early in the morning when it's still cool out before the sun comes up, and maybe even doing a part of a night hike early in the morning in the twilight, so that we can get going before it gets really hot. And we should be able to make it back there by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, hopefully, at best. But it'll be up to us to vote. But I think it would be foolish to push on, not knowing if there's going to be water at all. So check in again later. Well, it's 3:40 now. We got back to camp. We've had a little conference, a little meeting. We're going to stop here for the day. We did about a little over 12 miles. Matthew and I walked ahead about a mile to where there was supposedly water. Had no luck there, so we came back to the campsite. So it looks like we're all in agreement, both Matthew and Stephen and I. Tomorrow morning we're going to get up early and we're going to head back to the Oasis Ranger Station, where hopefully we'll arrange for a ride. Just sent out a message. There's no cell service here. There was cell service on the first several miles of the trail for anyone that's doing this, so you will have cell service. But once you get a little further north, there's no cell service. So luckily I have my Garmin device. I just texted the Wandering Drew's best assistant, who is the packing department, but today is the transportation department as well. And hopefully I'll get a response from the transportation department, and we'll be able to get a ride tomorrow. I'm arranging for a pickup. We're figuring maybe we can be back there before 3 o'clock, so I'll ask to be picked up at 3. Once we get back there, though, we'll have bathrooms, we'll have water and drinks, so we can wait there if we need to for a ride. So that's what we're doing now. So I'm going to actually do what you see Matthew's doing behind me, and Stephen's already set up because he stayed behind and watched all the stuff while we walked ahead to see if there was water. So I'm going to set up my tent, and we're going to plan on spending the night here and get up early in the morning, and instead of going northbound, well, unfortunately, we'll be heading southbound. I have just under a liter of water. I'm going to try and stretch that out till tomorrow. Well, it's 5 o'clock. Camp's all set up. We're rationing our water, or at least I am, and most of the other guys are doing the same, because we weren't able to find water today, which is really disappointing. Never for a moment really thought that we wouldn't be able to find water out here. All the reports and everything, even some of the gut hook stuff. I know nothing's really recent, but as of a week or two ago, there was water out here. So, and some people were reporting that the trail had water on it. So I figured we'd be able to get something. I never really imagined that finding water would be a problem out here, but it is. Every place that we saw water on the map on far outer gut hooks turned out to be bone dry. We found some places that were damp and obviously normally have had water in the past, but nothing. So we made the conservative, I think, smart choice, and we decided we're going to head back tomorrow. We're just shy of mile marker 12 here where we set up camp. So give or take, we'll be walking back to the Oasis Ranger Station, and we'll get picked up there. So we'll do something on the order of 24 to 26 miles. Matthew and I did an extra 2 today. So, I show us doing close to 14 and a half miles today. So if we do another 12 or so tomorrow, that's not bad. So it is what it is. You gotta be flexible. It's, plans don't always work out as you intend them, and you have to do what the trail gives you. So in this case, it gave us a dry trail. So we're going. I have 700 milliliters of water left. Decided I'm not going to probably have dinner tonight. Maybe I'll have a snack or something. But everything I have is usually either sugary or salty, or it takes water to cook it. So I'm going to skip dinner. And the plan is to get up early in the morning, try and hit the trail before first light, or maybe even at first light, and get some miles done while it's still cool out. And we're hoping that we can get back to the ranger station, definitely by 3 o'clock when we arrange the ride. But as we get closer, we'll tweak that a little bit. I may call and ask them to come early. But I figure we can get back there by 12 or 1, given the amount of time we did today. So about 6 hours. So if we can start at 6, we should be there by 12. There is water, there's drinks that are being sold there, I believe, and there's definitely bathrooms. So there's water available there. So all we have to do is make it back there, and we'll be okay. So I know we won't die. It might be uncomfortable a little bit. We might be a little thirsty, but we'll make it back. So that's going to be pretty much it for tonight. That's my recap of the day. We're just laying here. It's just hot. It's starting to cool off a little bit now that it's a little after 5. The sun's starting to go down. We got about 2.5 hours left of sunlight, so still quite some time. So it's still quite warm, but it's probably not in the 90s anymore. It's probably in the 80s. And there is a breeze every once in a while. Feels good, but just no place to get out of the sun, really. So just trying to sit down and relax. Hopefully I'll doze off and take a nap or something. But that's it. So check in again probably tomorrow morning, and go from there.